You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Hero After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Hero After Show.
Woo!
Steven, I asked for The Rock's theme song, and this is what I get?
You need a hero, Phil.
I need a hero! This is still the perfect song. If you guys are just as huge of fans as we are, which we know that you are tuning right now into Season 1, Episode 1 of The Hero, starring host Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I am your AfterBuzz host, the spicy chick herself in the flesh, Spicy Madi. And I'm so blessed to have executive producer and host Phil in the building with me hosting.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to do this show.
Yes.
I'm glad Spicy asked me to do it, and it's an honor and a privilege.
We've been in anticipation for this show.
We really have, and it delivered.
I'm a huge Rock fan, just for every project that he's ever worked on, and just him being one of the most beautiful, amazing men in the world. And I love the fact that he's hosting this show because it's so appropriate.
For me, I love The Rock, but I love him when he's The Rock instead of being an actor.
You like his personality.
This shows his personality. He's fantastic.
Right. He's not being this starlet right now. He's actually like coaching people and helping them and challenging them, maybe even coercing them a little bit.
Tempting them.
Temptation. That's a huge word on the show today. And for those of you who have seen it or have not seen it, we'll give you a little bit of a breakdown. But today on the show for AfterBuzz, we're going to talk about or start off talking about the characters, so that way you know a little bit about who they are and their background, and we'll give you our opinion about them as well. But Athena was one of the first characters that was introduced to us.
She was not a Greek goddess by any means.
This is the one that was the Patriots NFL cheerleader.
Correct.
And I don't feel like we've gotten enough of her personality yet. She mentioned that she had a temper, but we haven't quite seen that.
I mean, we'll certainly get into it, but the fact that she kind of stepped down from the challenge, where they were going to do 3 guys and 3 girls, and she stepped down to have 4 guys and 2 girls, we need to see more of her.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a sign that okay, so we have a numbers challenge, I'm told, that we're gonna get right now. In order to, if you were watching the show, every challenge has a number code that you have to put in at the end. And so Phil and I thought that it would be funny to play around with it and see if we could do that, because I feel personally as if all the challenges were extremely adventurous, but the most fearful part for me was the numbers. And so we're going to get a number right now. And are we making it up, Phil? And
no.
He's going to give it to us, right?
Steven's going to give us the number that he made up. And by the end of the show, Spicy and I will repeat it.
I'm really scared about this.
We're gonna be terrible.
Ready?
And we're not writing it down on a piece of paper.
Okay, we're not writing it down. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Oh my gosh.
Go ahead, Steven. It's
3.
10 digits.
Okay.
Okay, starting at the beginning. 3, 2, 7, 8, 9, 5, 0, 6, 1, 4.
Wonderful.
I need it again. I'm already 327.
3, 2, 7, 8, 9, 5, 0, 6, 1, 4.
I can only remember 327. One more time. The Rock gave them 3 chances, right?
All right, we got a third.
327.
3, 2, 7, 8, 9, 5, 0, 6, 1, 4.
I'll remember the inflection, not the numbers.
I made it easy for you guys. There's no repeating numbers, and there's every number between 0 and 9.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna try to.
Collectively, we might be able to get it.
But let's go back to the characters. We just wanted to play that little game with you guys at home. So if you can remember or help us remember, definitely call in. If you can, help us out too. Our number here is 424-256-1729. If you want to chime in at any time and give us your feedback of what you thought about the show as well. But we just gave a little intro for Athena. The next character that we were introduced to was Charles. And he's the LA police officer. We had a lot of LA contestants on this show. I think part of the reason.
Convenience.
Yeah, well, I think part of the reason too is because they did the casting here.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to find LA people. But then we have Darnell. He is the short people hero, he said. And he's a family man, a father.
Now, you said he had a big belly. I didn't notice this.
I feel like Darnell was probably the most out of shape out of everybody. Who knows, by the end, he may have, slimmed up a little bit by the end of the season. Who knows what kind of challenges he'll be put through. But I don't think that helps as far as the physical endurance and strength is concerned.
Okay.
I just noticed his belly. That's all I'm saying. And then we have David, and he's the trauma surgeon. David seems to be like a favorite.
He is in trauma. I mean, that's tough. He had his first marriage, and he's an old man. He's, I mean, I say old with all due respect, because he called himself old, but he's around 50, and for a marriage, that's pretty late to be getting married and to have your wife cheat on you at that age. That sucks.
Yeah, that's kind of late, right?
Yeah, that sucks.
So he said he had kind of trust issues. So, but so far he seems as if he's really coming through and setting an example as far as leadership is concerned. Then we have Marty, who's the construction worker. Marty seems a little high-strung.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to enter into every challenge, which I love, but I also think that he is semi-attention hungry, and that's part of it. And then we have Lydia, and she's the personal trainer. She's also from LA. And a super cute girl, has a little bit of mouth on her. She's a little mouthy.
Oh, she's the one who wants to take the money.
She's the one who keeps threatening to take the money. And then we have Rachel, who's the teacher and the single parent. She's the one that has the big curly hair, and she's doing this for her kids. And then we have Patty from Massachusetts, and she's afraid of heights. She started off crying on the show. I mean, that was our first introduction to Patty, and so far she hasn't won me over as the hero because she seems awfully sensitive. And then we have Sean, last but not least, who is the professional wrestler.
I think him and The Rock are just not going to get along because of that fact.
Do you feel a little tension between him and The Rock? It feels like The Rock's kind of being a little condescending and snarky to him a little bit.
Absolutely, but for all the just reasons. Now let's ask this: is this a good representation of what a hero should be? I mean, obviously, they pick people who you wouldn't think are heroes.
Uh-huh.
And to try to, obviously it's partly a redemption show, in that regard. But what was you did the casting?
Yeah.
What was the casting call like? What did it say?
So the casting, as you guys can see, I'm not on the show because I'm just too heroic, and they wanted people who were
I think
heroic.
I said that to Spicy. I think
you did. I was like, why did I make it? These people made it, and I didn't. But I made it very far. I just didn't make it till the end, and that's the part that's the most important. And I think I was just too strong and too heroic. But no, honestly, the casting was we need adventurous, adrenaline junkies who. Put their life on the line, or put, people before themselves every day, and selfless, good-hearted. They wanted just people who were physically strong and mentally strong. And when I went into the casting or the audition, they asked me a lot of personal questions like, what am I afraid of? What's my biggest challenges? How do I view a hero? And all the words that they're using on the show, I completely identify with, as far as integrity and respect and honesty. And they're addressing that on the show. But I think what they're looking for are people who have to step up into that, and that have a little bit of maybe a moral compass that's a little bit off. Because as you can see, some of the people are being challenged with that.
Yeah, and I think it's, as much as they're looking for, quote, the hero, they're also looking for a fish out of water element. And Patty is certainly one of those. Yeah,
but I think that Rock addressed that when he, one of the first challenges was when he made Patty come up the stairs. He said sometimes it's not, just physical and, the climbing a mountain. Sometimes it's just like the small step that you accomplish.
Yeah.
So internal as well as external.
Yeah.
But the show is very funny. I like the way that it's going. I think it's entertaining as well. I'm getting a kick out of it. But what else I'm getting a kick out of recently that I am so happy that I found that AfterBuzz has actually, been privileged to produce out there is The Adventures of Serial Buddies. That's something that's really adventurous. Yes. And this is a film that's it's a comedy, but it's also a like Dexter meets kind of Dumb and Dumber, but at the same time.
That's right. If you love Dexter, don't you?
I'm a huge Dexter fan, and then you can't tell me that there's like a merger between that and Dumb and Dumber, which is also one of my favorite comedy movies, and not expect me to see it. So when I saw it, of course, I'm like cracking up and I'm dying, and it's exactly what we need right now because it's hard to make a funny movie, but they did it, you know. And Napoleon Dynamite is something that we can definitely say is like an epic movie to compare it to. It's going to go down in history like that. Well,
I appreciate that because I am one of the producers on the movie, and it's got a great cast. It's got Beth Bears before she did Two Broke Girls, and she's equally hysterical, but in a obviously different role. Artie Lang, Christopher Lloyd, Christopher McDonald, Kathy Lee Gifford, Henry Winkler, the names.
And Maria as well, right? Maria Menounos, our CEO, and also Kevin Undergaro, who was the executive producer, also played a huge hand in the production of this.
He was the writer-director.
Yeah, writer-director. That's a pretty big hand. But this video, this movie is available now for purchase, and we would love it, just like how you guys support us and you tune into us and you rap with us for our after game show. You can purchase this film and support us and keep our lights on in the building by going to theadventuresofserialbuddies.com and purchasing the movie or downloading it, right, on iTunes?
It's available on iTunes, Adventures of Serial Buddies, and it's dirt cheap. It's like $5.99 for the HD version, $4.99 for the standard definition. There's not a lot of movies at that price.
Yeah.
And, we very much made it specific because, we here at AfterBuzz, this content is free with the movie. We obviously have to make up price for it. But we just want you guys to see it, so we wanted to give it a very reasonable price for you guys.
So if you are a true hero at home, you'll be a hero to the AfterBuzz studio and buy this movie.
That's right. Don't pirate it. That doesn't make you a hero.
Buy the movie. Integrity, y'all. Okay, so back to the TV show, The Heroes. So we just gave you a little introduction and breakdown of the characters. Now let's talk a little bit about the host, The Rock, because this is his first time hosting a show, and we see him in his little tight shirts, and he's coming on here. He is in his, I feel like, his element. He is a hero in his own right because of the foundation, the charities that he's contributed to, the projects that he's worked on, and also the fact that he is a role model. Yeah. And so he's kind of, come up with the concept of this show, and now he's hosting it. And you said you love him as himself.
A personality.
Yeah, not so much like, seeing him in the element of acting. I love him as both, as long as his shirt is off. But but The Rock, don't get me wrong, I respect your mind too. But I think that he's doing a great job as far as facilitating the games are concerned. When the characters are introduced to each other, we see him come on a helicopter. Of course, he's got to be extra with it.
I love he's we were following his tweets, and obviously the show set it down at the bottom. But one of the ones that they didn't show is, of course, I got to make grand entrance.
Yeah, of
The only
course.
thing missing was him repelling to them.
And that's what I thought that he was going to do. But instead, he made an announcement about the first challenge. And from the first challenge, we automatically see that everybody has to pick who are going to be the 6 people out of the 9 to go to the tower. And how they decide this is just based on pure vote and what they pick up from people's personalities thus far.
It was, I forget exactly who it was, but I believe it was either Rachel or Lydia. When they walked in, they didn't say hi to Athena. And, that got Athena.
That was Lydia who didn't say hi.
Yeah, and Athena was all, that woman is rude, whatever she said, kind of in that vein. And it was interesting, right, because they didn't know, obviously, that rule of, okay, every challenge you have to pick 6 people. So the fact that you actually have to get along with everybody.
Right.
I thought that's a really good twist, especially since people, right, off the bat coming into the house had beef with each other.
Well, they say that first impression is everything. So if you know that you're going on to a show called The Hero, you immediately, and whether you want to or not, you need to put your representative in front of the world. And so you need to be on your P's and Q's because America is watching. And that's what The Rock keeps trying to remind us. America is watching, and at the end, we have a say. But your teammates along the way have a say as well. And so they probably weren't thinking. They probably were thinking this is like the real world and real world road rules where you can just, come in and party and be yourself. But really, you need to have a formal introduction because you're trying to win the favor of people.
I mean, typically you see people kind of break to. Here's the thing with reality shows. You know, I've talked to enough reality stars and seen it, where they always say, "Oh, the editing got me bad" or whatever. No, eventually your true light comes through. Mm-hmm. But typically you don't want it to be in the first day. You know what I mean? Yes, eventually through stress you will snap, but it should be like at least, let's say, 2 or 3 episodes, and not on the first episode where you just literally walk in the damn door.
Yeah, and they didn't even put them any challenging elements yet at this point where they need to be snappy or rude. And I just think that Lydia was probably excited. She probably wasn't thinking. She just was being her, outgoing self, but just not, meeting everybody. And they weren't the priority in that situation.
Here's the interesting part. I mean, there's 26 seasons of Survivor and countless other challenge-type shows. Where you should know that there could be an element of teamwork. No, but you know what I mean?
It's a given. I feel you.
You know what I mean? Where like if you go back to the first season of Survivor, I'm sure people did not know how to do it.
Right.
But now at least there's enough stuff out there where you have to have some sensibility of like, okay, well, I have to have some sort of game plan. Now it doesn't have to be the game plan. You'll obviously have to adjust according to the rules, but at least just that tactfulness. It was missing from Lydia.
The goal is to be liked at the end of the day. If you're going to be the America's hero, the goal is to be liked.
Yeah.
And so, and also to contribute to why people aren't really feeling Lydia is because she has been one of the #1 people that when they're deciding who they're going to send out, she's the most vocal. She calls it honesty, but I call it maybe some untrustworthiness, that she would be willing to keep the money for herself. And she said, let's keep it real, people. If we do this challenge and we win the money, I might possibly keep it for myself. Like, why are you guys acting like you wouldn't? And everybody was kind of just baffled by that because this is day 1 and you're already showing your hand.
So in a perfect world, like, do you announce? I mean, here's the thing. It's so easy by Lydia announcing that. Now the rest of the 5 can make her the scapegoat and go with the, what supposedly is the group's mentality. But, well, a couple of questions. A, who's being honest and who's not?
I feel like Lydia is being honest. I think that at the end of the day, she really would take it. So I do appreciate her honesty. Thank you for telling me in advance that I can't trust you. Second, I feel like there's a few people who are a little bit wound up tight. Marty's one of them, and I can see him and Sean possibly at the end of the day taking the money for themselves because they're so concerned about what everybody else is doing and they keep vocalizing their lack of trust that I can see that. I think that Dave, swell guy, nice man next door you could possibly be living to, white picket fence, but I'm not quite sure yet if that's just for the cameras once again. And as far as the women are concerned, Patty's not a threat at all. I would be really surprised if she made it through this entire challenge. But there's nobody who's really rubbed me right that I'm like, ooh, I like Darnell. No, I'm not impressed by anybody yet, except for Dave. I do like him, but I'm still not one yet.
Yeah. I agree. I certainly don't trust Sean. I mean, he had his little thing at the end where, like, they're greedy, those mother out,
Yeah, he shouldn't have said. I think they're showing too much. And I know those are the confessionals, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't be crying, complaining already.
Yeah.
And, well, speaking of crying, Patty, who is afraid of heights, she was crying up the steps to the rock and was offered in the first challenge, which I think was a great additive to the show and put the temptation just right out there. The Rock is going to start offering contestants money to betray the teams, pretty much. And that's what it is, betrayal. You're being sneaky. You're keeping the money for yourself if you say yes to his offer, and making the challenge way more harder for the other team members. And this is an option that you can either take or you can turn down. Now, if you take the money, no one will know that you took it. But at the end of the day, it takes away from the main goal of the large amount from the pot.
And here's the thing: what it creates so much distrust because now at least it's planted in their minds, right? So you're always going to have, well, supposedly you're going to always have a 6-man challenge. I mean, we'll see how that changes if people get. I guess, how does it fully work? I don't know how.
As soon as people start to get eliminated.
Do people get eliminated?
I thought that people were going to start to get voted off, no?
Maybe they didn't make that clear, did they?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about that. Or if maybe everybody stays on and then at just the end we decide who we thought was the most heroic.
That could be, that would be an interesting twist because, if every week it seems like they're going to do, out of the 9, 6 people will go and, do the challenge. So then the 3 that are left, you know, if something's missing from the pot, because all it takes is The Rock just saying, hey, you know, $25,000 is missing. And then, okay, there's the 3 people. Go fight amongst yourselves as to who did it.
Well, the 3 people don't have to necessarily say if they didn't win or not, right, on the challenges. So, like, you do the challenge, because Dave could have taken the money, and the team would or wouldn't have known.
Well, that's Dave's case. But with Patty...
she wasn't a part of the challenge. So she was just offered the money to make the challenge harder for everybody else, correct? Yeah. And the team would just... That's what I'm finding hard to understand on the show. And I don't know if you guys are feeling this way at home, but how are people being held accountable? Are they just going to get away with stealing the money or keeping it for themselves?
Yeah, we gotta get a scenario where somebody steals.
I need to talk to The Rock. The Rock, you need to call in right now, so I can understand the exact rules of how this is set up. But what I do like the way that it's going so far, because it does show 3 people staying back. So either it's doing one of 2 things. It's making Americans at home that are watching this look at those people as weak for staying back, because if they're not jumping up to do the challenge, we're now looking at them like, okay, they were either afraid. Or we can look at them the opposite way and say, oh my gosh, that's great leadership. You're not fighting over the position to be a part of the challenge. But they're also looked at as the weakest link, though.
Correct. You know what would be funny? If by the end of all of this, you just had the same person or whatever stay back, just keep stealing the money, and they won out more so with money than the winner.
Well,
that would be hysterical.
I feel like somebody like Patty, possibly, if you look at what kind of challenges are going on, I would understand and would not fault her for taking the money. At the end of the day, her chances of winning the contest, to me, unless it's like a knitting competition, I don't see her climbing down a building or, you know, being thrown out of a helicopter into the water. I don't see her doing any of that.
I give Patty a lot of credit because, you know, there's people who go on this show, and I'll name Sean and Marty in particular, that want to win this money.
Correct.
You know, and obviously be on camera and stuff like that. Patty, I think, unless I'm really mistaken, is doing this because she wants to challenge herself and grow as a human being. The money would be nice. It would help her family a lot, but I think she just needs that within herself.
It's just personal for her.
Yeah.
Okay, but she can stay home and read a book. You know what I'm saying? Read Alchemist. Like, she doesn't have to take a spot on the show The Hero. That could have been safe for somebody that's very spicy. Not bitter, not at all. No, but honestly, I like Patty. I think she's a nice lady. I just feel as if she was doing the right thing by adding to the pot, but I would not have faulted her. But one thing that I do like about her personality is that she told us viewers at home in her confessional, she was like, I don't care what you guys think. Me going up these steps, you probably think is dumb and small to you going up these steps, but to me, it's a huge deal. And I thought that that was great that she addressed that, because that's what I was thinking. I was looking at her as a viewer at home and I'm like, oh my gosh, this weakling, you know, she can't walk up some stairs. But when you have a huge fear or phobia, it really does paralyze you. And she conquered that and also proved to herself that she's not gonna, you know, do the shady thing. She's gonna do right by her teammates.
And she got to hug The Rock. Point A.
And she got to hug The Rock.
Now, here's the interesting part. Had she taken the money, there's not a chance in hell that they would have won that challenge. It took 23
you are absolutely right. Thank you for addressing that.
It took 23 minutes between Sean and Marty. Thanks, Sean.
Let's talk about that.
And 3 minutes for Dave.
Really disappointed in that, Phil.
I'm sorry, not Dave. Charles and Rachel.
I'm really disappointed in that, though. Like, were you not shocked at how long it took these 2 massive-sized men to... They came on, we're strong, you know, we're going to be able to, you know, propel the best, and we got to be on this challenge, and they totally almost made them lose.
Here's it works in this way. Because they were the first, I didn't know how challenging it was. But then you have the next team that does it in 3 minutes. You're like, what? Are you 22 minutes?
Well, remember, we're like watching and we're like, just bounce off the wall. Like, just get momentum. Like, we're trying to like yell at them and tell them what to do. And they, of course, can't hear us. But it looks so easy as viewers at home. Like, well, we know what to do. But when you're in it and you're in that moment, it's 10 times harder.
But again, it just goes... Here's the thing about it, right? I mean, it's the cockiness of Sean. Like, Marty had the cockiness, but he backed it up 100%.
Very true.
Sean, you can't call yourself the best and then all of a sudden go at 22 minutes when you have Charles and Rachel who are just kind of sitting back the entire time, and they just do it in 3 minutes just because they did it.
Boop. But did they see how it can be done and then they got to do it, or they were not able to watch?
They were able to watch.
Because that helps, though, too. That's also an advantage, is being able to watch and say, okay, this is what they're doing wrong. This is what I'm not going to do.
But here's the thing. That's why I love when leaders kind of, or supposed leaders go first, you know, because it will take a little bit more time, right? But let's say it should take 10 minutes. No, in the regard of, okay, you go down, you try a strategy, okay, it's not working, you readjust, and then you do it. You know, and the next team can benefit off of that.
Right.
But that's a huge discrepancy of 22 minutes to 3 minutes when the team that gets 3 minutes is the
it makes
weaker
it look
team.
as if like it wasn't as hard as they were making it. But I think that was Sean's fault.
Those are the two guys that fought over who should get the last quote-unquote spot, and then obviously, you know, Athena stepped down so they could both have it.
Right. Which was big of her, but I mean, also too, she probably wasn't that excited about whatever the heights was concerned.
Yeah.
But after that challenge, and we see the time difference, then the team must now choose who's going to do the last one, and it was like climbing up a ramp, and Lydia and Charles did that one.
Well, David, Lydia, and Charles, and the tough part was, you know, they wanted to include Lydia and David because they didn't do the rope challenge.
Right.
But they also knew going into it those would be the people that would go into the hero challenge, and that just killed Marty, which I loved.
Well, how did they see? I mean, I don't understand why everybody was advocating for Lydia after she said that she would keep the money, and I'm happy that someone brought that up. I think it was Marty. Like, are you guys kidding me? You're gonna choose someone who just said multiple occasions that she would keep the money for herself. And because at the end of the day, if she does decide not to keep the money and she's going to do, you know, the righteous thing, she's doing it not, once again, for us. She's doing that because, you know, hey, I want to win the heroes at the end.
Here's the good news, though. You could be, and I'll dispute Marty in this sense. If they picked Dave and Lydia because they were fresh, right? Meaning not tired. And,
that's a great thing to take into account.
And noting the fact that if you get if the other 6 get a final vote to decide who's going to do the hero challenge, then okay, just, you know, have her do this, have her win the challenge, but then you're not going to vote her to do the hero challenge. Congratulations.
But they did, though.
They didn't vote on her.
No, they voted her in the top 3.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But out of the top 3, one has to be chosen, and it's chosen by the rest of the team. So who cares?
Oh, so she didn't get a vote even though? Like, are you saying that, like, her vote was taken away and that's a benefit, or?
Well, you know, the 3 of them, they didn't get to vote for themselves in the who should be the hero, right? It was just the rest of the 6.
Are they the ones that stepped? So those 3 that went after that challenge, did they step up, or did the team choose them to be the 3 to be picked from?
They picked them. I mean, it was kind of weird because, to a degree, they stepped up, but they were also chosen. You know, so with Lydia and Dave in particular, and then Charles, you know, kind of stepped up. Or David picked Charles.
I just don't understand why Lydia is making it so far. And mind you, I'm not a hater. That girl is cute. I think she has an amazing body. She's a physical trainer. But, you know, and I like that she's, like, you know, zesty. But as far as her just admitting, like, the selfishness involved with why she's doing it, I just don't understand why they are, you know, pushing in her direction. And it could just be the, you know, the physical fitness part. Yeah. But she did do well on her challenge. I thought the hard part about that challenge was the memorizing, you know, the numbers at the end. And I like that they're adding that component because that makes it 20 times harder. But the next part after that was the round table.
The harder part was the fact that they got screwed and they had like 3 minutes left. You know, and that's, you know, I don't care who you are. That to go from the bottom of that to that, you know, especially, here's the thing, you can't be timid about that at all. You just have to
go for it.
That's it.
Yeah,
you know, you got
no
3 minutes,
option.
go. And if you blink for a second, you're done, but 6 seconds to spare.
But it was great. They did it, though.
They did.
And so I think that did show, you know, them stepping up as a team. And when it came time to, so then they have the round table, and The Rock is making them choose who's going to be doing the hero challenge. And I feel like that hero challenge is like the big challenge. that they're going to do every single episode. Every single episode, I think that they're going to have their iPads in front of them and have to vote for who's going to be the hero for that episode.
And that's why I'm saying ultimately it doesn't really, unless there's you know, as a developed strategy being played where like Lydia starts having sides with people. That's why ultimately I don't think it matters. Okay, so Lydia did the you know, the 3-person challenge, but if no one's going to vote for her, who cares?
Yeah.
She just did the challenge and won it for us.
Well, by you doing the challenge, you're also proving your worth. And so to America, but also to your team as well, because your team wants as much money in the pot as possible. They're not going to put someone out there who they think is going to lose the challenge.
Yeah.
And so she's also starting to prove herself by entering into every single challenge.
But again, that's why I love the show, because, okay, so you're proving to them that you can win challenges, but you haven't proven to them that they can trust you.
Very true. And
you know?
trust is a huge part of a hero. And so we see then in the next challenge, Dave gets picked. Everybody has their iPads out. Dave gets picked. I wish I would have been able to see who chose who.
Yeah, I hate when they don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they said 51% of people chose Dave, which, okay, I guess that works kind of mathematically.
But still, like, wouldn't you want to know, like, who was against, you know, or who maybe thought that it should have been Lydia or, you know, Charles. But I mean, regardless, Dave won. I knew that Dave was going to win.
Okay, what did you think of Charles? Because everyone, you know, they had their team strategy beforehand of who should do it, and then we're like, Dave should do it. And then, okay, you know, it's Are You Afraid of Dark type of stuff. And then Charles like, I should be chosen because I am absolutely afraid of dark. And I was like, okay, hold on. Wait, did he's afraid of dark? Okay. And I was like, okay, I'm confused. But then I actually like this. I actually like this answer.
It was a good answer. They actually showed that on the previews, and so I was prepared for it when he said it. But I felt like it was a little bit rehearsed. But it was a good rehearsed response, because that was something that also shows that he's trying to prove something to himself. But at the end of the day, that's not going to work for your team. Figure that mess out at home. If you are afraid of the dark, you work that out on your own time. Don't work it out on my time with my money. And that's why I don't think they voted for him.
Darnell, he called him out. He said, like, okay, that's a great mentality, but why didn't you step up yesterday, you know, regardless? Like, okay, is height not one of your fears, and that's why you'd be amazing?
Right.
So it
he
just
was busting him out, right?
Yeah. So it's a little bit wishy-washy in that regard. Had he not said anything, and then, you know, they just kind of find out, oh, you know, it's going to be Are You Afraid of Dark type of challenge. Well, I'd be the best because I'm going to be scared, but I'm going to do it because of that fact. Then, again, it's just, it was conditional, is what I'm saying.
But that was coming from Darnell. And Darnell, who hasn't done anything, correct? So
Darnell's just calling people out left and right.
Yeah, okay, Darnell, we see you calling people out, but what have you stepped up to? And the next, you know, call out was from what, Athena and Rachel. They started bagging on Lydia while she was up there.
Yeah.
And they started getting into it with her, talking about, that's when it became a cat fight, talking about, you know, well, your attitude, well, I don't like the way you're talking to me. I just kind of felt like they, at some level, should still keep it professional. You guys are a team. And so there has to be a level of respect. You guys put her up there. You guys are voting on her. You know, it doesn't need to get catfighty. But I think she was defensive as well, as far as, you know, why she was up there. But it wound up being, you know, Dave is the winner who won that from your 51% or 50% vote, you said. And
well, that's what they on the bottom. I was like, wait, 6 people, 51%. How does that work?
Somebody was just kind of a point unsure. But he winds up doing the challenge of, you know, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And meets The Rock down in a tunnel. And they didn't really prepare us for what he was going to do. We just saw Dave drop into a tunnel, and he has a mini little obstacle course that he has to do in the dark with spiders that are constantly being shown to us, tarantulas.
Here's the funny
no
part.
light.
The funny part is, as an audience member, to a degree, it's great. It's silly in the respect that we obviously have the green tint that we can always see. And so when, like, in particular, when he's walking and he hits the floor with his forehead, or not the floor, I'm sorry, the wall with his forehead, those moments are just funny because obviously we can see the wall and we're like, no, you're going to hit the damn wall. But he hits the damn wall.
But for him, it's probably not funny. It's painful. So I sympathize with him, because while he's going through it, it looks so easy to us at home. We're like, oh, just go left, just go right. But when you're in the dark and money's involved and time is involved and you can't,
you got to remember a 10-digit number.
Yes, and he has no idea where he's going, like, and what's down there, because it could be, you know, something crazy, like that whole floor could have been spiders or worms or just anything. They could have, who knows what, they'll put in your obstacle course
You know what
on
would
a
be a funny
reality
strategy?
show.
If he was just walking down the thing and he'd be like, 2 spiders, 6 worms, 3 koalas.
To help him memorize
Yeah, just
the
everything's
code.
touching. 8 spider webs, 3 snakes.
That's what he should have been doing. I would have been repeating those words the entire time. But all he was saying was, it's dark in here. It's dark in here. I can't see anything.
Best
it's
way to
dark in
remember
here.
numbers, make a song.
Oh, I like that. That's a great tip. That's an AfterBuzz exclusive tip right there.
86753.
What is it? What would this come out to? Something in the billion? No, million? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the commas in there.
Well, so Dave was doing good on the challenge. I felt like he was doing good until the point when he got the money. And as intelligent as a normal human would be, as far as, let me not lose the money, he didn't accomplish that. He starts losing the money when he gets the backpack and he's heading back.
Yeah, dude, close the backpack.
I would never have him as a partner robbing a bank, but I would put him on, an obstacle course challenge. But he winds up making it just in the split of time to The Rock. And of course, The Rock is doing his suspenseful kind of, no expression, not letting him know if he made it or not. And then he announces, yes, you won the money. You did, great job. You won it for the team. And then Dave has to prove, whether he's going to be the hero for the day or if he's going to keep it for himself. And of course, he does the right thing.
I like the Rock tweeted after that. Dude, I would have bought pancakes. Nice job,
And that's
Rock.
a lie because we know The Rock does not eat pancakes, not with that body.
Yes, he does.
Does he?
He has the most epic cheat days. Look at his Instagram. That's all he posts.
Oh, you know what? That's right. He does give himself that. But during the week, he's like really strict, especially between like his movies and stuff. He's really, really, really strict on his diet.
Now, you talked about, as we were watching it, the fact that, and Dave mentioned it, like, oh, they must be in suspense back at the house, and everyone's just dancing and whatnot. Now, you said they should, and there's a specific reason why they're not doing it, but that they should be able to watch to an extent.
Right. I just felt like they should be more involved in the challenge. I just thought that it was odd that they're at home, like cold kicking it, while their team member is, going through the trenches. And
You
so
know
I
what'd be
felt
cool?
like they should be able to see it, but not get to see like what he decides.
It would, well, how about this? Because they would know whether or not he won. What if, okay, if the challenge is, he's got the time limit of 20 minutes. You get to watch for 15 minutes. Or 14 minutes.
I like that. So at least they get to see a little bit, and they don't get to see whether he won or not.
Yeah, and you don't know if he found the money, this and that, whatever it may be, and they're like cut off, and then because then at least you can see his efforts.
Right, and that's what I
within
wanted
that
them to
time,
do.
If they see him really trying to get that money, and he says, "I came back a loser," then you have some
like,
decision to make. Well, he was trying.
Right. And it would battle with the trust too, because I saw you going hard. What do you mean you didn't win? Or I saw you slacking. Like, I think that would help as well, and I think that it would help also their decision as far as just like the ability is involved. If we can really rock with him or not. If he's really a great team member, and the challenges are concerned. So them not being able to see it, I felt like there's like a little bit of a disconnect. But they get to see him in the challenges earlier that day.
Yeah.
So I did think that the challenges were like death-defying and extremely scary, and I like that they showed us those incredible heights. I thought that the views were great that they were giving us because I felt like I was really up that high with them every challenge.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty scary.
But I just don't understand what they're doing each episode with the people that stay behind. Because like, what if Darnell's just like never wants to step up to the plate and do a challenge?
Then hopefully, a million of his friends decide to vote him as the hero. I don't know.
Because like, how does that work? Because does he just keep fingers crossed that The Rock like sneaks, behind the back and like offers him some money?
I'm not, especially with these type of shows and the fact that it's brand new. I think it'll take. Next episode, we'll kind of see the consistencies from show to show, and we'll get some more answers. But I do like where it's headed. I mean, if I'm to think anything, I think they will all stay, and ultimately we will decide.
Okay, so that's what you're thinking.
And that's going to be the cool part. And again, unless Darnell has like 8 million people that are going to vote for him, that would be interesting though. Like the biggest loser just wins the hero.
Well, I do think that we'll start to see too a little bit of The Rock get more involved with them. And I think with that as well, that's going to play a role in our opinion at home about what we think about them. Because the more that he gets involved, and we already love The Rock, but the more that he gets involved,
Abercrombie a bitch.
yeah, I think it's going to start to paint our perception of what we think of each role of each person.
Yeah.
Because he's helping us think that, you know, Sean is this like little douchebag. And like you said,
Abercrombie and bitch. That's what I like their little tip because again, you know, them as wrestlers and the Rock. I mean, there's no greater. I mean, you have a few people in the class of The Rock. That's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could argue Chris Jericho. Now, you know, maybe John Cena and CM Punk. But like, this is the Rock.
Right.
And then you're some Sean, the pro wrestler.
Right. I don't know what fight I saw him in, but I thought that it was funny when The Rock said sometimes bigger isn't better unless you're me.
Yeah.
And we can't, like, The Rock can be cocky because he can back it up. And I think that's where Sean and Marty were kind of, it was a little sketchy. Is like, you guys are cocky, but are y'all backing it up? And we did see Marty do it, but then Marty's whiny too.
Yeah.
And so I think
Marty's childish.
Marty's childish, okay? Like immature.
Immature.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Because he was like pouting about every single challenge that he was or wasn't getting to do.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that we'll see more of that because if he's starting off like that, that's his first impression that he wants to give to us. But I mean, who knows? It could be one of the big guys that win at the end, or one of the small people, or one of the older people. You never know.
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know who's gonna win, or who I vote for.
I definitely like the temptations that they're adding in there, and I think that The Rock had it right when he said that was you know, one of the nemesis of
being a hero.
Of being a hero, yeah. And I thought that was great, and I think that we'll see a lot more temptation as we go along. But those of you at home, thank you guys for, you know, tuning in with us. Do we have any predictions that we want to go for?
Yeah, we can roll in the predictions.
Let's give like a little prediction.
But before the prediction,
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I do want to give a shout out to The Rock because I mean, the Fast and the Furious 6. Or Furious.
Right.
If you know, if for those of you who've seen it, and this is not a spoiler alert in any way, on the title card it just says Furious 6. So for those of you who've seen Furious 6, you know, he does a fantastic job, and obviously that movie is just making money.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. I'm gonna go see it this weekend.
So congrats to The Rock. You know, hopefully, we'll see you at Maria's birthday party.
I know. Please, The Rock, come. You did a great job.
Stone Cold's coming. You guys can fight.
The Rock did a great job in The Snitch too. I just saw that, and I was impressed with him with that. And he was playing a hero in that. He often plays the hero role. That's why the show is so perfect for him.
Exactly.
But my AfterBuzz prediction. Okay.
What are the 10 numbers?
Ah, damn.
3.
3.
8.
7.
No.
3. No. 5,
3
8,
is
7.
right.
Okay. 3, 8, 7.
No.
3, 5, 7.
No.
3, 4, 7.
You got the 7 right.
Okay, so 3 blank 7.
3, 2, 7.
Ding ding.
Okay. 3, 2, 7. 8, 5, 6.
No.
17, 29.
You got the 8 right.
Okay. 3, 5, 6.
No.
Oh, 3. What did I say? 3.
3, 2, 7.
3, 2, 7. Okay. 3, 2, 7. 8.
Uh-huh.
0.
No.
9.
9.
3, 2, 7. 8, 9.
0.
No.
1.
6.
No.
2.
No.
4.
No.
5.
There you go.
Okay, we're gonna just give. Okay, we didn't win that challenge this time.
327-895-0614.
Dang.
Congratulations, viewer at home, for smarter than us. Next week, we didn't get much from the previews. What we got was a lot of people yelling at each other.
Yeah. It looks like it's gonna be a little dramaful, another like real world.
No, I think we got the introductions out of the way, and now we can really focus on the fun stuff.
Yeah, and just dive into there. But my vote, if I had to choose right now who I would go for, and this is gonna sound awful, I want Lydia to win. As much as I was, kind of annoyed and but appreciative of her honesty, I would love to see her win.
Charles, baby, from the
Charles?
LAPD.
Okay, so far we're saying Lydia and Charles. Let's see if you guys want to tweet at us at home. Let us know what you guys think.
Real fast before we give away the Twitters. David's story about him.
Oh,
the airport story.
The airport story.
Sean thought it was a bunch of BS. We obviously got it confirmed via the newspaper article. Was it the right strategy to tell people?
I think that he was already winning them over. It wasn't necessary. I think that he just added that into the mix for his own like personal, memory lane, memory lane type of thing. But at the same time, it wasn't necessary, But it was everybody was impressed by it though.
Well, what's necessary? Tweet us during the off hours. Tweet at
spicy_Madi.
And tweet us here at AfterBuzz TV. And you have an Instagram and all that? Yes,
I do. You guys can, it's the same exact. Play with my Twitter at spicy_Madi, and you can stroke my Instagram at spicy_Madi. Or you can go to www.thespicylife.com if you want to see some of the after show from AfterBuzz TV or anything spicy for that matter.
There you go. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
You're gonna prove us wrong.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.